joining me here on this show. Look, I kind of wanted to have this guy on because I love talking to him, but I also love him. I love him like a family member. My kids call him Uncle Michael. He was at my wedding. He was at my daughter's baby naming. This man is family. And since there's so much conversation about what's going on in the world between white and black and brown and black and white and brown, I wanted to have this guy on to just talk about life in general and also, for the lack of a better phrase, model what I think should be going on in this world. I love this man. I love you, Michael Irvin. Thank you for calling into this show today.
Thanks, Rich. How are you guys doing amidst all of this, Rich? And Rich, even just that introduction kind of talks about where we are, and this whole situation has been for us as a country and certainly for us as a people, a hell of an emotional roller coaster. I mean, to come off 3 months of showing solidarity and common ground to beat this invisible devil that we call COVID-19, to smack right into this situation where after showing unity, now fighting each other, or perceived to be fighting each other, and we'll talk about that as a race. It's just insane. It's insane what we've been going through, Rich. It really is.
That's a good way to I guess, start this, Michael, because I always viewed, and I was saying here about, social distancing, then what that phrase means, but what it also sounds like, and seeing the streets empty and staying at home and not having human contact with each other, and how difficult that has been for so many people who are, in danger of getting COVID-19. Folks also like my mom, who's 82, right. Lost her husband of 50 plus years just at the outset of this, and being alone, and how difficult that is for so many people. That I was sitting here on this set, Michael, and I'd say, I look at the empty streets, I look at the empty lives, and I say that is actually a sign of coming together, that we're all doing the same thing to come together as one. Interesting that you would say that what, just when we're all living in that and basking in it as we should, this happens.
Right, and Rich, and I say that because I have to try to put sense to it. I overthink everything and overanalyze everything, and you just when we saw that. When we saw that, man, I was like, I was amazed. I was amazed at everybody coming out, everybody speaking about how important it is that we do the right thing. And then I am equally amazed at this in the throwing away of the security or the fight in the COVID-19 and coming out because, wait a minute, this is as great a threat to us as the COVID-19. That's why you see people in crowds, like they are in crowds now, coming off 3 months of not being around anybody. You're throwing all of that in the wind, and that's one of that I feel good about. That everybody's saying, wait a minute, this is as dangerous. This right here, this racism, this kind of stuff coming from that place and headed towards that place, coming from the police towards African Americans, is as dangerous as the COVID-19, and we're skirting everything to say enough is enough. When I try to put it together, I kind of said to myself, we are in the midst of the pain that comes in the process towards progress. The ugly has to be shown. The ugly has to be shown, and we've seen the ugly in the Aubrey case, with the Gregory's, Timothy Gregory, and with Gregory. We saw that man get shot just jogging, and then we see the ugly of Derek Chauvin sitting on this man's neck as he cries out for help. So you see that kind of stuff, man, and you say, oh my God, where are we as a country? But to see all of these people come together, Rich, all of these people come and say enough is enough. It's pain to see all of that, but that's progress. That's progress, because now people are starting to hear what we as African Americans have been saying for quite a while. And a lot of times, it just I don't want to say it fell on deaf ears when you hear people say the systemic racism. It's because it's in higher places. The Arbery case with the Michaels, why they weren't charged is because it went to a prosecutor named Barnhill who was friends with the McMichaels. He had to recuse himself, and as he recused himself, he left a letter to the next prosecutor to say, I don't think they did anything wrong. You see what I'm saying? We get the issues that happen on the street because they know they're protected by some people that are not clean in thought and not clean and right in higher positions that will protect them. We can't just get the police officers without getting those higher people that have been protecting them out before we go forward.
Michael Irvin here on the Rich Eisen Show. What do you want people to know, Michael? I'm just going to just a very hugely open-ended question, but
Rich, basically what I just stated. I want us to understand. Yeah, we're in pain now. But there's been great progress, and we're going to see more progress. Now, things will start changing. And to that, I have to thank all of the other people that are not people of color that were in the fight before. And now I have to thank all of the other people that are not people of color that have said, wait a minute, and have started joining the fight. And that's what we're seeing in the streets of all of these cities. We're seeing all of these people say, hey, how can I be a human and see this and be okay with this? And this is not right. So I thank them for coming out. And that touches me also, Rich. That's why I had to send all of you guys that text. And I don't mind, I'll share this here because we see all of that. And I want to make sure that doesn't affect where we are, and I want people to always understand that there's progress being made. Like we have great friendships, great working relationships. We're all living in each other's lives. And I sent that text to all the people that I work with just to say, hey, thank you. It has been crystallized with all that's going on in this country right now, how blessed I am to be walking my life out and working with men, such great men of great character and great heart, because we see the other people are out there too. The other people are out there, and I just wanted you guys to know how much I appreciate who you are. But we got to get those other people out there, out of here.
Michael Irvin here on the Rich Eisen Show, and then it's our own house in the NFL that is now front and center in statements that have just been made in the last 24 hours. The coach of Denver and Vic Fangio, as he gave a full-throated support for what is happening in the streets for George Floyd and trying to protest against police brutality. He said that there should be files of charges of treason filed against the cop who murdered. That's my word. George Floyd on the streets of Minneapolis. But he also said he didn't see any racism in the NFL, talking about there's a meritocracy here in the NFL. And then moments ago, Drew Brees on Yahoo being interviewed with the prospect of maybe players kneeling during the national anthem again, him saying that he doesn't agree with anybody who disrespects the United States flag, and then went on a very full-throated reason as to why, and people who have fought for the country and fought for the right for protests. There's going to be a lot of recrimination and finger pointing going on, Michael, and I'm wondering what you could, say about all that.
Well, and to that point, and Drew, listen, I respect all the people that have fought for this country, but the reality is, and let's just go to the point, go to the source. When Colin Kaepernick took that knee, he was not doing it in to disrespect the people that have fought for this country. It was actually after he had talked to someone that had fought for the country that told him to take the knee.
Yes.
So he was not doing that. But what remains that should be shocking is that it's the same pose that killed Floyd. It's the same pose that killed Floyd. So even some of the people like Drew Brees who may have felt emotionally one way when it went on, when they see this video, because go watch New York Times. They put together a reenactment of the whole thing.
It's very difficult to watch, but yes, you have to see it.
It's a great piece. It's a great piece to let you see everything, man. When you see that, you're like, oh, my God, that's murder. That's murder in the streets. There was no for $20 for a fake $20 or whatever. That there's no reason that should have come to that. There's just no reason it should have come to that. And I feel badly for it. But all of those people that saw that and believed that it was against this country, it's okay to come across now and say, now I see. Let's not be so rigid. Let's not be so rigid into who we are and our beliefs that we don't come across the water now and say, you know what, I was wrong. I see what it was about now, and I want to give a hand to helping out. And a lot of people have said that. They've said it to me. So I just want to thank all of those people for putting down their ego and coming across and saying, no, we got to stop this. And I think you see a lot of those people all throughout the streets throughout this country.
Michael Irvin here on the Rich Eisen Show. And I also do want to bring this up, too, with you, because I've seen you. I've seen you on the sidelines. You're a popular guy. The number of folks at law enforcement that come up to you and you have conversations with them and people you know in law enforcement, and I'm sure you had.
That's what makes it difficult, Rich. It's not it. We're not talking about everybody. There's so many. Listen, let me tell you something. We need law enforcement. Mm-hmm. We need law enforcement for our protection. What we do not need is black men being persecuted and executed. We need law enforcement. There are a great number of great people out here that do their jobs and do it well, and do it well. But we got to stop the persecution and certainly the execution, the persecution. Rich, I can tell you over the last few months, I bet I've been stopped a couple times. I even film them. I got stopped driving in Addison, Texas. It's right up the street. And I was just driving around. And the guy, they stopped me because I did a U-turn to go back by the park. Everybody was just starting to come back out. Did a U-turn to go back by the park to see people out. I was just driving around just to see people. And cars came up everywhere. I said, why are you stopping me? I didn't do anything wrong. He said, well, you were in the turning lane and didn't turn on your turning signal. I said, are you joking? Get out. Come on, man. When I turned in the turning lane, the turning signal went off, so I turned, but I was in the turning lane, the turning lane. But anyway, he finally broke down and said, okay, Michael. When he found out who it was, he said, oh, really? We have a phone call from people that said there was a suspicious black man in a G-Wagon driving around. So we have to change the mentality. The lady in the park that said, oh, I'm here, I feel like I'm about to get attacked by the black. That's the mentality. All of those people with that mentality, those are the people that they're finding to go on the jury to let off the police officers that do wrong. That's the systemic issue that we have that perpetuates itself that we got to root out of this country. There are a lot of great people, and I know, Rich, and I apologize to all of the great people out there that do the right thing, that get sucked into these few people that are that really are foul and are doing the wrong thing. I apologize to all of you guys, and I thank everybody for coming out and getting in this fight like we are seeing in this country.
Exactly, and for people who may need to hear this. If you look and wonder why people are protesting, and hopefully peacefully, in a peaceable manner, it's because maybe they don't get pulled over because the color of their skin has not caused someone to call the cops. Or the reason why that somebody who has the color of skin that causes someone to call the cops that doesn't have an escalating situation happen is because they don't have the resume of Michael Irvin and the name recognition and facial recognition. And this is something that needs to be talked about. And it has to be talked about and rectified. And it has to be brought in a manner. Again, I've got Anquan Bolden on tomorrow's show, in a way where state houses need to be involved and courthouses need to be involved. And change needs to happen from people who are understanding or wanting to understand this. And I think it's important to say that. I just wanted to say that.
Right, in those positions to make those changes and not just at the police level. Because the police, hey, Derek, that guy felt comfortable enough to lay on this man's neck for 9 minutes. It was almost as if he saw everybody filming. He saw this man go limp, and it was almost as if he's thinking, I'm going to get a pose for the locker room to put in my KKK meeting. He knew this was being taken, and he would not come off that man's neck. That's insane. That is insane that you feel comfortable enough to openly do this murder on tape, on film, and feel, hey, there's going to be no repercussions. He did it thinking there would be no repercussions. So we have to root out the problem above the officers, not just the officers. I started to post that the last couple of times when I got stopped, because I filmed it all. I started to post it. You know why I didn't post it, Rich? I called a friend of mine, and he's an African-American, and he's a trooper here in Dallas. And I was telling him about it, and I said, man, I'm thinking about posting it. He said, Mike, let me just explain to you what they could be. He said, first of all, he said, you post it, and then people see the officer, and he's branded. Maybe he's branded a racist or something like that, when the reality is, in that situation, he may not be. He was just answering the call. He has to answer the call.
Yes.
That's his job. He has to answer the call. And that made me not post it, but made me also think, oh, okay, so the issue rides deeper than that. The issue rides with the people that are even above them that we have to think out. The issue rides with the people, with us, the peers, because when we ultimately go to court and you look at the list of officers that have gotten off over the last 10 years of things, even events that we've seen happen live, get off on those cases, the jury pool, it's coming from all of us. So we have to change the way we see all of those things, man. It's an insane undertaking that we have to start walking.
Michael Irvin here on the show, and so now I know that when you come to Los Angeles and you drive to work, you're taking a step down from that G-Wagon with the rentals that you're getting, Michael. I'm finding that out.
I don't usually rent out G-Wagon.
I'm glad. I'm glad you're able to.
The NFL don't take care of it. They give us pretty good cars. They get Range Rovers and stuff, Rich. So it's all cool. It's all
man.
Cool. But they're good, plain-looking cars. They're
yes,
good,
Michael.
cars that don't have any rims. So, like, I got a Hummer here, Rich. I won't even drive it. Every time I drive this white brothered out a Hummer, I get pulled over.
Come on.
And I mess with him. I said, come on, man, you got to stop stopping me in this car. I said, I'm not even going to drive it anymore. I'll just leave it. I'll just leave it home. And he said to me, he said, Michael, I didn't even know you had a white one. I thought you had a black one. I said, it was black. I painted it white. How are you watching me this closely? You know what I'm saying? But it's crazy. We have to get to the issue.
Yes, we do.
That's above just the officers and at that level.
Before I let you go, Michael, let's just talk a couple minutes of sports here. What do you say to people that say Dak doesn't deserve the money? Meaning Chris Brockman. What do you say? What do you say? What do you say that Dak doesn't deserve to get $35-40 million a year, and that if he does get it, he's going to cap string the hamstring via the cap the Cowboys for years to come?
Well, listen, this problem has persisted, and we've been going down this road for quite a while. The quarterback, whoever he's up, we've always argued about this, Rich, when we see Kirk Cousins, all of these guys get the money they get. Jimmy Garoppolo got the money he got for 6 or 7 games played. Look at the money Ryan Tannehill just got basically off Derrick Henry. So this has been the business of the quarterback position, and Dak has done everything, and he has won. He has won a lot of football games in his first 4 years, so to say he doesn't deserve the money isn't totally correct. He does deserve the money. That's the market, and he's a starting winning quarterback in this NFL. It's just a matter of getting it done. And I think they'll get it done. It's business. Dak wants every penny, and Jerry wants to try to save every penny.
Yep.
But mostly, usually those kinds of deals, I always tell people, will get done soon as the slipper fall off Cinderella. 12:01. 12:01, something will get done, and it'll come in, and Dak will be, for a moment, the highest-paid quarterback before Pat Mahomes get his.
I just find it funny that it's all Garrett's fault, and then Garrett's gone. Now it's Dak's fault. You know what I'm saying? Like that if everybody who thinks it was Jason Garrett's fault, and we all know Garrett has been a fall guy in many ways.
Right.
And many reasons, a lot of the, do I go for it? Do I not? Didn't know when to punt. Didn't know when to go for it. A lot of the problems that were laid at his feet, whether rightful or wrong, but they were laid at his feet. Now that he's not there, it's not like, so we're paying Dak for going 8-8 in a season where we were blaming the coach the entire time, right? So now
right. And he has his best year. The defense didn't play well, and Dak statistically puts up his best year, where usually, people, you put up numbers. I thought that's what this generation was more about, numbers instead of championships, But always, whenever there's a dispute between player and organization, people always get on the player. They always get on the player. Dak has been not great. Dak has been perfect. I mean, perfect. Not necessarily in wins and losses, of course, but I'm talking about just the person that he's been, the kind of investment you want to make, the kind of point, the kind of guy you said, man, we hit it with this guy. We got him in the 4th round. So you stole 4 years. So whatever you get, he deserves, because you still owe him back pay.
And he also pledged $1 million to improve police training and address systemic racism in America today. I love the guy.
And I love the guy. Rich.
I love the kid.
I didn't know that. But if I'm him, that's a great move by him. And now all he does is tell his agents, hey, tell Jerry we want $41 million.
Yeah, 41 instead of 40.
I'm pledging $1 million. Hey, put that on Jerry's tab. That would be smart business on his part now. So don't get mad at him if he doesn't.
I love you, Irv. I love you, Michael Irvin. Best to your family and everybody from me and Suze and all of ours. All my kids say hello to Uncle Michael. You take care of yourself. We'll chat soon.
Hey, I appreciate you, Rich. And I mean that, Rich. And when you asked, the last thing I want to say, Rich, is I don't want us to see all this unrest and forget about all of the great progress, and continue to make progress together. We'll get out all of these bad apples and make it a great place.
All right, Irv, you take care. We'll chat soon.
Hey, thanks, buddy.
Michael Irvin, the one and only, at Michael Irvin 88.